I'm Sheri Daniels, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Papa Ola Lokahi, which is our Native Hawaiian Health Board, located here in Hawaii. But we also have responsibility and reach across the United States, across the 48 lower states and Alaska. And I had to really look back at the dates because I actually heard of them through work that we did through the First Nations Health Authority. And just in those spaces, the Native American spaces that we were part of, and through Healing Our Spirit Worldwide and that Indigenous national stage. And that's kind of how but also through our colleagues, our collaborations with the University of Hawaii, John A. Bird School of Medicine and its Department of Native Hawaiian Health. The chairperson there, Dr. Keawe Aimoku Kaholokula, knew of Mara, and had and that's, I think, how the first time I met them was when they were on a tour in Hawaii. Both him and Diane Paloma, Dr. Diane Paloma from Hawaii Dental Service, had worked with them before through their involvement with the Department of Native Hawaiian Health. And kind of that's how I got introduced to them. And then come to find out they're doing work with First Nations Health Authority. And kind of the ball started rolling from there. So it was kind of, I think how we meet people and how we collaborate as Indigenous communities. It's all by who you know, it's all by relationships, it's word of mouth, but it's also just being authentic with each other and creating friendships. And so it's more than just a relationship or a contracted transactional thing that I've gotten over the years to have to call them friends. And I think that's something that you don't get in most business kind of arrangements, is I can truly call them friends. And I think that's pretty awesome. We had this relationship. I was able to join them on a couple of their tours that they took in Alaska, in Arizona, and I got to be a fly on the wall and join them in those spaces and get to hear the way they interacted with Native American communities and leaders. And from there, I learned that they had a project with First Nations Health Authority in talking with their communities around not just a needs assessment, but really an environmental scan of what was actually happening, boots on the ground. What is it that communities saw when they came in? And but what was the responsibility of the health authority? And as I learned more about that, it resonated because that's something we do at Papa Ola Lokahi, is to be that space for Native Hawaiian health. And because they already had experience in doing kind of this needs assessment, environmental scan, that's really how we contracted with them pre-COVID. So this had to have been around 2018, 2019, definitely before COVID, because one of their last islands that they were going to be doing this kind of review on was Oahu, and that's when COVID that's when the shutdown happened. And so it had to have been 2018. And then we started contracting with them in 2019. So definitely over 5 years. And like I said, just very similar philosophies of how we show up, how we engage not only our community, but each other. And I think having those of like values and beliefs and practices, it just makes total sense that we use them, to help us really evaluate the work we were doing and what we could be doing. And so that was super beneficial to us at the time. I got to see what they did and how they did it. So it wasn't like I was getting secondhand information or third-hand information from people who maybe contracted with them. I I saw them in action. I watched how they helped manage the visiting tour and the group, and really giving them such a well-rounded, robust experience away from Aotearoa, in Alaska, and really helping those participants bridge it and see it. That for me, having them do our needs assessment, having them look at our Native Hawaiian Healthcare Act and our systems, which is our 5 Native Hawaiian Healthcare centers here in Hawaii, and really looking from um, a neutral lens outside, just really, having no vested interest besides helping us uplift our people and our communities. That was super helpful because I knew that the feedback they provided, that the way they were looking at things was really to elevate the work. And that's exactly what we got. And so having been able to see that, like watch them in action, I think helped me really just go, okay, how can I get them to help me, assess things, look at things, implement things, and evaluate over a period of time. And so I think our work with them in our project, even though it was, super focused on us, they brought their authentic self and how they work with other parties and other communities and other partners. And to me, that you can't fake that. And you have that because that's what you practice. And they demonstrate that all the time. That project that they did was really used as baseline for me. At that time, I was several years into my role at Ola Lokahi. I didn't have anything else, any other document to kind of create my baseline. And so their report, and they did a report for each island, and they did a kind of a broader look, from my vantage point. And that allowed me to create a baseline and to use that, so that baseline becomes a marker for our systems and our staff in how we continue to build upon, how we expand, enhance all of those great things. But also it was really a learning tool around what we still needed to work on. It not only gave us a roadmap, but it helped us take an honest assessment of where we've come, which wasn't bad or anything. It's just, how do we navigate changing landscapes, like like as it happens, and not be behind, in doing, shifts and evolving the work. And so that really helped me and helped our organization kind of put a pin and a starting point. And then from there, we could see, okay, what was happening in the late 80s, the early 90s, the 2000s, and really to start to move us along. And then how do we plan out for the next 5 years, for the next 10 years? And nobody predicted COVID, right? When we started this with them, we didn't anticipate COVID. And that was a game changer. And that changed the way we looked at things and how we could execute things. And now, again, we're in a very different landscape. And how do we take that? But the document's still super relevant because it allowed us to see, okay, so have we made improvements even over the last 5 years, 6 years? And if not, why? Is these external factors, such a force? But then also, I think it really was done from a cultural perspective. And that was not very common pre-COVID. Yeah, we talk about culture, we talk about Indigenous, perspectives and mindsets and all of those things, but to say it And to kind of put that overlay of it is very different from actually practicing it and doing it. And this document was really allowing us to embrace our cultural space and being, and to give ourselves permission to practice that, what it means to be Kanaka or to be an Indigenous organization. The support, it's not just one person. It wasn't just Patrick or Mara. It was, I mean, it really is a family. They are a family at the end of the day. And so all of them want you to thrive. They want you as a person, me as Sheri, me as the role I play as the CEO, as the organization. They want it all to be thriving. And so I think having that is not the typical Western transactional practice that we are so used to. So just the engagement, and it's not even about doing for you, it's doing with you, and really hearing what you're hoping to accomplish. And that's what it was always, the conversations we had was always about, okay, how do we make it better? Well, this is what they heard. How do we adjust going forward or at the next island? And really sharing some of their concerns in a way that it didn't make us feel horrible. It didn't make us feel like we were so inept in the work we did, but it came across as let us help you improve. Let us help you recognize your strengths and pull on your strengths and lean into the things that are uncomfortable, because those things will help you be better. And I think I have not found that type of engagement and true partnering with a contractor as I did with them. If somebody had asked me or wanted suggestions, my first question to them was, do you want a company, an organization who's practicing what it means, practicing their culture, practicing their cultural values and beliefs in a way that is elevating, and doing it in that cultural way? And if that's what you're talking and you truly want to do that, they're the person. If you want quality work, hands down, they perform, they tell you what they're going to deliver, and they deliver it and some. And so I definitely would encourage people, like, if you want hard workers, people who are going to get in the work with you, no hesitation. Give them a call, contact them, ask them. They are more than happy to open up their books and show you, this is what we've done. Go talk to them. I think their work speaks for itself.